I would say the starting salary would range, maybe start from like 35,000 annually when you do not have any sort of experience, right? You just got licensed, but it can easily go up to.
Hi, Sahil. Thank you so much for joining in. Before we jump into the questions that I have for you, could you please give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Thank you, Sagar. I thank you for having me. I thank Immigrant for having me here today. I'm glad to be part of this initiative. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Sahil Kaushal, and I'm from India basically, but I've been living here in Canada from 2015. I came here as an international student. I finished my education in India and, thought of pursuing my further education in Canada. So I came here to study paralegal program, and now I've been licensed since 2017 and practicing, in the same field. And I've also started my own practice from last year, January.
Great, great. Thanks for the introduction. I'm actually very excited to have you because I posted a video a few months ago about studying law in Canada. It's actually one of the most popular videos on our channel. So, and we got a lot of questions. And today, I think is the time we would be getting the answers as well. Sahil, so let's talk about the paralegal program itself. So if you can tell us about what are some of the courses that you get to study?
Sure. So it's a 2-year diploma. There are options for even going for like a 3-year program and even converting it to a bachelor's degree. But, it depends on how you want to go for it. But I went for a 2-year diploma, which was accelerated because I did not want to waste much time. I went for a continuous one. Some of the courses were really good, which were relevant to the field, were like, evidence law, criminal code of Canada, legal research and writing. All these are the core areas that we need when we are practicing law out there. So that was really helpful, and I found that the course structure was really in line with the profession.
Nice. And talking about the courses and the course structure, at any point while you were studying, did you find it was too hard or like too much to fold in?
Well, the course load goes, because it was accelerated program, it was like 6 courses at a time. So it did get overwhelming at point because it was more of a practical approach that we are not used to being, in India, we are not used to have more practical, education. Here it was more practical. So I did feel overwhelming. It did feel overwhelming in the beginning, but by, like the second semester, I got used to it. More, it's about like, time management, because it's not something that you can just cram or that you can just, it's more about understanding and applying the law. So if you can do that well, I think you won't have any problems. Any of the students will not have any problems, in the program. It was pretty self-explanatory. The professors were really good who were, explaining everything really well so that, we get the point of what we are studying.
That's true. And it's not even, just not with the paralegal program. Any program you go, as if you're coming as an international student, especially when you're new to the country, it takes time to get used to it, right? And you have to have a lot of patience. And the point is, it's not impossible, right? If Sahil can do it, if I can do it, definitely you can do it as well, right? It's just about time management, as you said, right? Managing your house chores, your assignments, your classes, etc. But it's possible. It just have to be on top of your time management. Wonderful. And you did your paralegal at Sheridan College, right? So any other colleges that you would recommend?
Yeah, Sheridan I found really good because a lot of our professors were, like crown prosecutors or were, in the field for like over 25 years. Where even we had few of the professors who had written the books as well that are, studied all across the profession. Another college is George Brown that I know I have friends from, which recommended, the college, the program there. And even Humber has a very good, 3-year program, which is, I have few friends and colleagues who gave really good reviews about the program at Humber College. And recently, Durham has been doing really good. So if you want to be in GTA, these three colleges are a very good choice for, paralegal program, I would say.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. And moving forward, Sahil, and this is the big question that we have is, and I see students, getting pretty confused when it comes to studying paralegal and studying law. So if you can tell us what are some of the differences and similarities between the two, like studying a paralegal program and studying a law itself?
Okay, yeah, that's a very important question, as you mentioned. A lot of people confuse paralegal being a legal assistant, which is true up to some extent because in other countries, paralegal is seen as a more of a legal assistant role. But in Canada, especially in Ontario, paralegals can practice on their own if they get licensed. We will talk about licensing process later, but talking about the difference, I would say a lawyer and a paralegal are licensed and regulated by the same body, which is Law Society of Ontario in Canada, and we have almost 60 to 70% of the powers of a lawyer. Like we can practice civil in small claims court. We can have take on quasi-criminal and provincial offenses matters. We can go to all the tribunals, even immigration tribunals like appeals and immigration and refugee board. It's about exploring the profession. If you like, I have seen a lot of lawyers from India. I personally have friends who were like, oh no, we just want to go for law. But it is, if they really want to, get into, because studying law here can be time consuming, expensive, and, it's long process. So especially if somebody who's a lawyer in India and wants to come here, paralegal is a really good option because it'll be fast. They can do accelerated program like me and get done in 2 years, less than 2 years. And, that can help them get licensed and practice legal profession. And that can also help them, once they finally want to become a lawyer, that can waive the articling requirement depending on the situation, of course, but there are options around that, if you are a paralegal and you have practiced for couple of years, you can waive your articleship, which is 1 year long and always a hard thing for lawyers. So, it's equally good profession. The major difference is only we can't practice some serious criminal matters. We can't practice real estate law, but it's a good start if you want to get into the profession. You want to know the legal industry in Canada, because while I was studying in India too, I did get exposed to a lot of legal to legal industry. I saw a major difference in how the legal industry operates in Canada as well as in the India. So it's a good start for the students. I would recommend.
Great, that's a very good answer, and I think that would have helped a lot of potential international students. All right, and now let's talk about the process. So let's say you completed your paralegal program. So what are the next steps? Like, do you have any additional exams? Do you have license, and how do you actually can practice?
Yes. So another thing to add is that a paralegal program anywhere has field placement, which is unpaid and is mandatory in order to get licensed. So if you want to get licensed by Law Society of Ontario, which is basically like a bar council, you can say, you need to have that field placement. It's usually between 200 to 300 hours, which is usually a part of your program in the school. So once you get done with it, you apply for the licensing. So the licensing exams happen 2 to 3 times every year, and it's a 7-hour exam. So you have barrister and solicitor, 2 different 7-hour exams for a lawyer, but for paralegal there's only one exam, which is a 7-hour long, and which happens 2 to 3 times every year. You need to register for that, and the fee for that is around $1,000, and then you have to pay the licensing fee as well once you pass the exam. licensing fee ranges that, if you're employed in a company or in a law firm, it is a bit less. If you're practicing on your own, it varies. So, you can probably choose it according to, what your situation is. The exam itself is, it covers almost all the areas of law. So, whatever you study during your course, it covers all of that. They have a lot of focus on ethics and, professional competencies. So anybody who is aspiring paralegal who wants to give, appear for the exam, I would say they should focus on ethics and professional competencies a lot, because that's their main focus that they want to check.
Great, perfect. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sahil, that it's just like law, right? It's also provincial, like it varies with each province, right?
It does vary from province to province, yes. So right now in Ontario, we have this. Not all the provinces, basically gives license to the paralegals. British Columbia does, and I guess Manitoba is coming up with one, but Ontario was the first province to actually regularize and license the paralegals and give them authorization to practice law independently.
Great. So no, the reason I asked, so basically, if you want to recommend a future international student, you would definitely recommend Ontario as a province if they want to go with paralegal.
So yeah, I mean, Ontario is the best province in order to become a paralegal. British Columbia is the second choice, but Ontario would be the one if they want to really go for the paralegal, I would say. Yes.
Great. All right. So now let's say you've done everything. You got your license. Now you're authorized to practice paralegal. What are the job opportunities that you actually get out there?
Canada, everybody knows there are plenty of jobs if you are willing to do, and if you are, if you have the skill set. I would say there are jobs out there, but a lot of people, a lot of, law firms, they require few years of experience. And the biggest problem with Canada is, as everybody knows, they usually prefer Canadian work experience. So that was a challenge that I faced too. But what I did was I started volunteering, in the last semester of my school.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was working there for that time. I would go twice or thrice a week, however the schedule, allowed. And based on that, I was able to, land a job very easily. So my advice would be, yes, the job market can be a bit challenging, but if you maybe go for a volunteering program, there's even a mentorship program which is provided by Law Society itself after you get licensed. So, they can find you a mentor which can train you. So if you do that mentorship program for 6 months, that can equip you with the practicalities and, how the practice actually works in reality. That will give you a long, edge over other people who are, seeking the jobs. Other than that, it is not very hard to find a job, and, even my personal experience, I worked in various law firms over past 3 to 4 years. And after that, I started my own practice. So that is something that you can actually do. And all the students who really want to, aim for a good career can actually do that in a short span of 3 to 4 years, and I personally am very satisfied with the profession, with what I'm making, and, the respect as well out there. So that's something which is good.
I think that's a great advice when you mentioned volunteering. And just to add on that, like volunteering is not, when we talk about volunteering, we only think about there's something that we can put on resume. It should not be like that. It should only for the learning first. That should be the priority. Not thinking that I'm going to put it on resume and I'll get the job.
Exactly. It's if you're just going for that purpose, you may not even learn what you're there for, right? So if you learn that stuff during that opportunity, I think you can land a job very easily. And there are plenty of jobs out there. And something to add, uh, there are ways that you can become a municipal prosecutor, that you can land a job as a court clerk after a couple of years of experience as a paralegal. So it's very important to look out for the opportunities. And like I would say there are a lot of opportunities, but if you just look for, that's the advice to all the students who are watching this.
Nice. And so now, if we're talking about the jobs and another thing, and the most important thing I would say, not the most important, but something which plays a big factor is the money, right? So on an average, like, what do you think? How much someone can expect?
I would say the starting salary would range, maybe start from like 35,000 annually when you do not have any sort of experience, right? You just got licensed, but it can easily go up to 50 to $60,000 annually once you have like close to 1 year of work experience. And as I mentioned, the government jobs like law clerk or court clerk or prosecutors, they even earn close to like 100,000 every year. So that's something that you can aim for in a couple of years, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much, Sahil. Thank you so much for your time. It was great having you. Thank you so much for sharing all the information and knowledge. I'm pretty sure it's going to help a lot of regional international students, and I wish you all the best.
You're very welcome. I wish good luck to all the viewers out there as well. And, I hope they are successful in their goal of coming to Canada and, having a better lifestyle.